Hi, boys and girls. I want to start today by saying if you are in Ukraine or you have family and or friends in Ukraine, I want you to know our hearts are very much with you. We're thinking about you all the time, and we're wishing for peace and healing for your country and you very soon. At the end of Gigi Sprinkles today, I'm going to read a little poem about sunflowers, which says Ukraine to me at the moment. So we'll do that at the end of the segment. We're going to start by talking about scarecrows. And that seems like kind of a funny topic, but spring is almost here. We're still dealing with a little snow where I live, but spring is coming soon. And that made me think about the crops that are growing or will be growing soon. And I've got some things here I'm going to plant. I've got some pepper seeds and pumpkins and carrots. And I've even got a sunflower seed I'm going to plant and see if I can grow a sunflower. So scarecrows, we know, were created and have been used for hundreds of years to scare animals and birds, particularly birds, away from the seeds so that the seeds can grow. And to give you a little bit of history, back in the ancient days, in ancient Egypt, they used to get big not bales of hay, but wheat, and tie them together in the center, and that because they could stand them up and they looked a little bit like people, and so they could stand those up and they would blow a little bit in the wind, and that would scare the birds. And then in Great Britain, also hundreds of years ago, they would actually hire bird scarers. And those people, frequently children like you, would scream and yell and wave their arms and sometimes throw rocks to try and scare the birds away. So it was important, that scarecrows do their job and that the seeds could grow and the crops would grow and we'd have our food. So today, scarecrows aren't used quite as much in our country. When they are, and you may have seen this before, they call this tube guy. And tube guy, this is a tiny little tube guy, but sometimes you see these when businesses are opening, car dealerships, but this is tube guy. And a huge tube guy out in a field, you can probably guess, would scare the birds pretty well. So I had to get my own little tube guy because I thought he was cute. But also, scarecrow, this is kind of the typical scarecrow look. And I have my little crops here, and I can just put a scarecrow in here, if it'll go down, and that will, if these were like full-size crops, scare the birds, keep them away from my crops, so that's good. One of the most famous scarecrows, and I bet you know this, is the scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz, who most of all wanted a brain. And so this is our Wizard of Oz scarecrow. Sometimes in our country, and probably other parts of the world, they actually have scarecrow festivals. And I want to show you one. This is from a town very close to where we live, in Eureka, Missouri. And this, if I can get it moving here, I'm gonna let you see. Recognize that, Scarecrow? Okay, so when they have Scarecrow festivals, they sometimes will judge based on funniest Scarecrow, all around best Scarecrow. So we try to go to the Scarecrow festival because I like to see what they do. They're pretty creative. Did you see Mary Poppins in there? The whole Mary Poppins crew. So it's pretty interesting what people will do. So let me read you a poem about scarecrows. Are scarecrows really scary? I guess sometimes they are. In the garden or a farmer's field, birds scatter pretty far. Sometimes they're stuffed with paper or sometimes rags or hay. It doesn't matter what you use, just do it your own way. They need a face, of course, and perhaps gloves and a hat. You could give them a pair of shoes, but they might not need that. The scarecrows serve a purpose as they stand there silently. But though they might scare birds away, they really don't scare me. And if you look over here, I made a scarecrow. So if I decide I want to plant a garden in my backyard, I could plant a garden and put my scarecrow back there. I didn't give him a name yet. If you have any ideas, I'd be happy to hear them. Okay, before I leave, sunflowers have always been one of my favorite flowers because they're so bright and cheerful. And they are the flower of Ukraine. And I think it's important to try and pick up on the happiness that they offer and the support. And I want to read you a poem about that. And this is called Sunflower Strong. Sunflowers speak of love and hope, their color warm and bright. The yellow makes us happy even when our world's not right. Their round and fuzzy center looks just like a big brown eye that sees our troubles clearly as it looks up to the sky. Sunflowers follow daylight. They turn to face the sun. But they stand tall and steadfast even when the day is done. We all can be like sunflowers who live for warmth and light. And like them, we'll be tall and strong even in the darkest night. So Ukraine, we love you, and stand tall. And 1, 4, 3, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.